What's up YouTube? Welcome to the new video. My name is David J. Kelly, and today we're going to talk about something in this video that I think is super important and something that most men don't understand, and it is, what do women actually want? It's something that when I was a young man, I was as clueless as could be, but I thought I knew it and understood it. But before we get into this topic, make sure you are subscribed, because I'm dropping videos just like this to help you build yourself into the best man possible across your entire life, physically, mentally, emotionally, all aspects of life, to help you be the best man you can. And make sure you like this video so we can press this out to more of our brothers that need help and need help with women specifically. So let me get into this video by explaining a story that my younger self had, and really just, for the most part, is how I used to behave and thought what women wanted. And quite honestly, I think it's what most guys believe at a young age. I used to think that, you know, when I was like anywhere from 15, 16 years old, 14, whatever, through probably my early 20s, I lived in a manner of thinking, there's a girl I like, and I'm just really nice to her, and I just like butter her up, compliment her, if I just express how interested I am and all this different stuff, and show her that I care about her and all these different things, that'll work out for me. And if you're laughing and you're watching this and you realize how ridiculous that is, that's because you know how untrue that actually is. Basically, it's just that we're brought up in a world where that's just kind of pervasive in watch different, you know, movies and television, and just what's baked into our consciousness through other people. And we've never really had somebody to really show us the reins of how these things actually work. And in somebody's case like mine, I had to go through getting my absolute heart ripped out, and, you know, my feelings hurt, and all this different stuff to really come to understand and learn that everything I was doing was 150% incorrect. And it wasn't until maybe the last 4 or 5 years, so I'm 30 years old now, the last 4 or 5 years that I really started to understand this stuff more. It's actually the complete opposite, guys. It's the 100% complete opposite. And let me contrast that younger version of myself then with how I am now. So back then, I was very, very, very intent and made women a focus in my life. So, you know, even I mean, this happens to all of us throughout our life. We end up, you know, making women too much of a focus in our life. We make girls too much of a focus, and what happens? We focus on it too much, and seemingly there's no options for us available when we put way too many, too much focus into that. Now, maybe there are some options, but it's not the quality, it's not the attractiveness that we want. As I've gotten older and I've settled more into my purpose, and I always talk about this on my channel, that as a man, the only constant in your life really is your purpose, and that's where you should be putting your focus, your attention, your grind should always be on that specifically, because the ROI for that in terms of your happiness, fulfillment, your success is going to be way higher if you do that, right? You putting the focus on that is the best investment you can make for your life, because all these other things, the money, you know, any level of fame or whatever you desire, women will actually come inevitably through that. And let me explain why the women aspect will come from that. When I was younger like that, like I was talking about, there would be these girls I liked, and I would do all these things I just mentioned, try to like kiss their ass, like do all this different stuff, and I wouldn't end up with them. But then there would be these guys who frankly just didn't care at all, and they were drawn to those guys. And I didn't understand it. It was so frustrating to me, because logically it makes no sense. Like, why would you, as a female, want this guy that wants nothing to do with you versus, you know, there's me over here who I'm, you know, buying you flowers and doing all this stuff for you, and you don't want to be with me? Well, it comes back to what I said about purpose and drive. It's that when you are too preoccupied with your life and you're actually building and you're grinding and you're growing yourself, you're constantly building, you're growing, and life just keeps leveling up, you know, year after year after year, and you're building yourself, and you become more physically attractive because you're building your physique, you're building your finances, you're building your social acumen, you're building friendships that are good, you're traveling to all these different places and stuff. Females see that, and they are extremely drawn to that, because it is wired into a female's brain to be drawn to men that can attract resources and provide. Now, we like to talk down on women because we're like, well, women are so drawn to money, and that's you know, she's a gold digger or whatever. You can't help it, guys. Women are naturally drawn to that to somebody that isn't, it's not necessarily being rich, while that is sometimes true, it's more that the guy is at work on his purpose. Because women know subconsciously and consciously that when a man is grinding like that and working very hard, he will be successful, even if he's not successful right now. So how does this tie into my life currently, like I was just saying? Well, I'm in the middle of a bodybuilding prep right now. And as you can imagine, between different stuff for my coaching business, filming YouTube content, getting all my cardio done and my steps and my training and my posing and just, even other work and stuff, like my day is so full that I don't really have time to be pissing off and focusing on girls. I really don't. I'm just being honest with you guys. And I do have like a female in my life. She's not my girlfriend, but it's somebody that, I am very close with, but I'm not committed to her. It's not necessarily a relationship. What's very interesting is the fact that as I've been more locked in like this, and this is not the first time this has happened to me. This has happened to me so many times throughout my life, but this time right now might be the most I've ever seen it, because I think this is the most dialed in I've ever been on my entire life, not just the bodybuilding prep, but everything I'm doing. There is just constant females giving me attention. Literally today I was at the gym and the front desk guy who's working there, he comes up to me and asks me, "Hey Dave, are you single?" And I said, well, just explaining the whole relationship thing I said, yes, actually I am, but it's kind of complicated or whatever. And he's like, well, there's this girl, and I won't use her name, over here who thinks you're super attractive and she'd like to meet you. And he was like, would you like to meet her? And I was like, well, I didn't want to be a dick. I was like, fine, whatever, right? So he brings her in there. And the funny part is I'm literally in my boxers practicing posing. And this girl comes in and I kind of wave at her and she introduces herself to me. I introduce myself to her. And I was hoping, like, please make this quick. I'm trying to focus on what I'm doing. I'm trying to focus on my purpose, right, guys? And I wasn't doing this as an act. I was truly locked in on what I was doing. And you could just see in this girl's face, her face lit up and she was so excited to talk to me. And I couldn't be further from excited to talk to her because I was starving and I just wanted to move on. As I was driving home from the gym, it hit me because these things keep happening to me. I've had tons of girls that I used to want that I haven't thought about in a while who have been hitting me up, who've been liking my Instagram stories, who have been reaching out to me with, these bizarre questions, because they want your attention. That's what females do when they want to talk to you. They will come up with some BS reason to reach out to you. That's just the way females are. Like us men, we'll just go out and be like, hey, I want to see you, whatever. But females will be like, oh, like, what do you think of this dress or some bullshit? Does it look like I gained muscle or what? There's always some convoluted reason they're reaching out to you, but really they're just trying to talk to you because they want to see if you're still interested in them. Now, that's where it gets very interesting. The moment that you end up being and reciprocating that interest too much, that's where they lose interest again. So my old self, I would let this happen and I would then, overly reciprocate this interest only to have these girls then pull away and do the same stuff all over again. How does this play into what women want? Women want a man who has a strong purpose, that is very confident in himself and at peace with himself and doesn't need them. Let me repeat that again. Women want a man who is focused on their purpose, grinding at that purpose, confident in themselves, and doesn't need them. They're at peace with being by themselves. There's nothing worse than being a needy man. If you need a girl in your life, let me tell you something. She might come in for a period of time, or you might be able to have her for a little bit. She will vacate your life quicker than you could ever believe. Trust me on that. I've experienced that. I've watched people that I love very much in marriages, their wife cheat on them and all kinds of things and they couldn't figure out why. Well, it was because they were overly needy. Almost every single time. I've seen this play out time and time and time again. And I'm not excusing the female's behavior. I'm just simply stating this is why these things happen a lot of the time. This connects, and it finally clicked in my mind like maybe a year or two ago that's why when I was younger, that this whole system played out, that these guys who seemingly didn't care about these girls that I wanted and I did care about were getting them, or at least getting their interest, right? Because they couldn't care less. They didn't care. And the most powerful place to be in as a man is when you walk into that gym or the room or whatever, and girls can sense that you don't have any time for BS. You are there on a mission. You're there to grind. You're there to get shit done because your purpose is what fills you. That is what fills your attention. The moment you displace that attention overly onto the female or overly onto some other place in life that it doesn't belong or it's not giving you that ROI that you want in your life, you can mark my words that that person, that girl who had high level of interest in you previously will then change her mind, right? And completely go away from it. And let me also add another story here. I live half the year in Pittsburgh, which is where I am right now in the summer, and then I live half the year in Florida. So as you can imagine, I have lots of different circles of people that I'm around, friendships and all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm around a lot of different girls. One thing that I noticed was before I left for Florida this last time, so it's when I'm recording this video, it's May of 2024, and I left to go down in December of 2023. Now, before I left, I was in a much different headspace than I am now. I was coming out of a very long depression phase. I still wasn't probably fully out of it, if I'm being honest. And I definitely gave off a lot of needy energy. And there was these 2 or 3 girls that I would see at the gym a lot that I wanted, I was close with, would talk to them. At one point in time, they were very interested in me. And then, you know, things happen and whatnot, and they just lost interest. They wouldn't reciprocate as much, all this different stuff, or you just see it in their energy. What's really weird is that I went to Florida, you know, for 5 months and came back, and it was as if those girls completely forgot about how I was before. And let me explain why. It's because when I was in Florida, and I wasn't doing this intentionally, but I was really, really locking in and grinding hard on my life. And those girls saw by me leaving and going to Florida, I basically said, subconsciously, and that this isn't why I went to Florida, but this is what it signals to them subconsciously is he doesn't need me. This guy does not need me. Here's the thing. When I came back, instantly, they start showing up at the gym when I go. They start liking my Instagram stories. They start flirting with me, trying to get my attention. And you know what I do? Because I've learned from the past, I don't play into it. I don't have a lick of time for that. Because number one, I already have a girl in my life. As I explained. She's not my girlfriend, but I already have a female in my life. So that in and of itself gives you a level of not needing this other person, right? It's kind of like, yeah. You know, it's like when the joke of like, you ask your mom if you can get pizza, and she's like, no, we have pizza at home, but it's like some frozen pizza, and you wanted the good pizza from the store, right? But like, it's the same kind of thing. It's like, I already got that. I already got a cute blonde girl at home, so I don't really need you, right? It's the same kind of thing. It's also that I'm so locked in on my life and my path and my purpose. And these things are not communicated. I don't have to say this stuff to these girls. It's just communicated subconsciously. They understand that, they feel the energy of that, and girls are so drawn to that. A lot of times with younger girls, they don't even know how to put this stuff into words. They could just feel it. That's why a lot of times, you know, when I was younger, I wanted, you know, when I was like 22, 23, I wanted these girls of my age, and they always would choose these older guys, and it really ticked me off because I was like, well, I want them, right? Like, screw this older dude. Well, now I am the older guy, and these younger girls, they're in the, you know, 22 to 25 range, always seem to kind of show up and are flocking towards guys like me and my age because we already have this stuff figured out. We're grinding on our path. We're grinding on our purpose. And that is what girls want, okay? More than anything, you don't need to buy them flowers. You don't need to do all this stuff. In fact, you shouldn't do any of that stuff. Okay, maybe for like an anniversary or something, if you're already in a relationship with them, yes, you should do nice things for them. I'm talking about front end attraction style stuff. You need to be grinding on your purpose. You need to be committed to that. And when the girl does show interest and you do end up going out with her, you need to prolong and be the guy who sits across the table and goes, yeah, I don't really, you know, not literally, but just kind of communicate like, I could take this or leave it. I don't really care. Because it's not an act. If you're truly at peace with yourself and you're truly grinding on your purpose, you don't care. That's the secret. So I hope this video helps you understand this. I know that we could probably talk about this for 35, 40 minutes, an hour. I wanted to put this into a video and share some anecdotes and also some real life psychology, not like hard science, but things that I've experienced and things I've seen with my clients. I coach guys for transforming their physiques and stuff, but we're also working a lot on mindset, and these things all play into that. So I've seen this a lot with my friends. I've seen it with my cousins. I've seen it with myself. And these things are true. And whether or not you want to believe this is true or not, I didn't make the rules for this game. It's just a part of life. So I thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you're subscribed, like the video, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day or night, depending on whenever you're watching this.